Now let's switch gears a minute and talk about the Big 12 as a whole. What were my takeaways? The Big 12, all the coaches seem to get along really well for the most part. They all seem to have a very high level of respect for one another. There still seems to be a pretty good vibe around the league, in my opinion, around the conference. Now, you obviously there's still the looming situation with Texas Tech. You obviously had the day one situation where the reporter asked Brett Yormark a kind of a gotcha question, and Brett it was sort of a spicy, intense, whatever word you want to use, interaction between the two. So that Texas Tech Brendan Sorsby stuff still looming. You had apparently in an interview with the Athletic during media days, you had Scott Satterfield of Cincinnati, and I think it was with the Athletic. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but you had Scott Satterfield of Cincinnati essentially accusing Texas Tech of tampering with Brendan Sorsby when they still had 4 games to go in the season last year. So, now that's out there. You had a report come out that Cincinnati there has been an inquiry into Cincinnati and what they knew about Sorsby by the NCAA apparently. So, that report came out by Ross Dellinger during Big 12 media days. So there's still some of that stuff out there. The conference is probably in a little bit lesser, as far as the health of the conference, probably not quite as good as they were this time a year ago, or even 2 years ago, or 3 years ago even. Reminder to hit the like button. Conference probably not in as good a spot as they were from a health standpoint, and a kumbaya, holding hands, everybody on the same page. Not like they were a couple years ago, but I don't think the conference is dying. I don't think anybody's actively trying to get out. Now listen, I think if any team in the Big 12 or ACC gets an opportunity to leave to go to the SEC or Big 10 and make more money, they're likely going to do it. Let's not be naive about it. Whether it's Texas Tech, whether it's Cincinnati, whether it's Utah, whether it's Kansas, whether it's Miami, whether it's Florida State, whether it's Louisville, whether it's West Virginia, whoever. I would imagine all of them have the goal of getting into the Big 10 or SEC at some point. But as far as the overall health of the Big 12 as a P4 league, I still think they're okay. Every family has arguments. I've heard other podcasters or media people use this analogy. All families have arguments. Anytime you work this closely with 15 other people, in this case 15 other schools, you're going to have some disagreements from time to time. It happens. I don't think we need to make a big deal of it at the moment. Now, if it continues and it festers and it grows, maybe we can have that discussion. But I'm not going to sit here and pound a table and say the Big 12's in trouble because of this Texas Tech situation. I don't buy into that. The league's going to be fine. It's just a bump in the road. They'll get through it. They'll get past it. Everybody will get back on the same page. They're the only league. They were the first Power 4 league to sign the participation agreement for the College Sports Commission. That's a positive. Apparently there was a meeting between Cody Campbell and several Big 12 leaders at a steakhouse in Fort Worth, apparently this week too, trying to get all those Big 12 schools on the same page. Whether you like or don't like Cody Campbell, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. Trying to bring people together. So to make the Big 12 a better league, he says a rising tide will lift all boats, and he wants other schools in the conference to invest like Texas Tech is investing. Now, one argument to that is I don't think every school has the ability to invest at that level, number one. But his overall premise is not necessarily wrong. I think every school should be investing at the highest level they can invest. And I think that's probably all he's saying is, hey, if you have the ability to invest more, do what you can do. Max out your ability to invest in your athletic programs. And I think that's all he's asking. I don't think he's asking every school to invest $50 million or $60 million into their athletic department to pay their players in rev share and NIL and all that. I don't think that's what he's saying here. I think what he's saying is let's all get to the highest level possible so we can make this league better. So that was another takeaway, is that meeting that was had in Fort Worth before. Cody Campbell, as far as I know, was not at media days. I didn't see him walking around. Had he been, I probably would have tried to introduce myself to him. One interesting note that I heard Yormark talk about in his interview with ESPN about this Monster Energy deal. A lot of controversy about the Monster Energy deal. That it's only, it's only $20 million deal, and you're getting all these jersey patches, all these field logos, and all the Big 12 is getting is a measly $20 million a year. And when you do the math, according to a report by Front Office Sports, by the time the conference gets their piece, it's about $800,000 each for the teams. And it don't sound like a ton of money on the surface. But here are three things Yormark pointed out. Yes, the monetary part is great, but Brett Yormark is all in, man, on international exposure for the Big 12. And here's what he had to say. Monster Energy is going to be providing the Big 12 with an opportunity to market themselves, because I'm assuming the Monster Big 12 logo will also be on TV campaigns, digital campaigns, all around the world. Monster is in over 150 countries. And that Big 12 Monster partnership is going to travel internationally. He thinks it will help enrollment. He thinks it will help recruitment. And he thinks it will help fan engagement. Not just a Monster deal, but just having the Big 12 with an international presence will help all of that. He talks about how 14% of their student athletes are from other countries. There are 6 Big 12 schools with campuses in other countries. It's all about getting more students into these schools. Us as fans, we want to focus on what happens on the field, on wins and losses, on the quarterback, on the running back, on the wide receiver, on who's winning games. We now want to focus on NIL and rev share, but we lose sight of the big picture, which is the university level. They're trying to attract and retain students. Right now, at America's #1 sports picks app, Prize Picks, you can play $5 and get $50 instantly in lineups by simply using code HMA at checkout. Again, play $5, get $50 instantly in lineups by using code HMA. To play, all you have to do is go to the Prize Picks app, select what sport you want to choose your lineup from or your players from. For example, if you want to choose Conor McGregor to have more or less than 52.5 significant strikes in his upcoming bout against Max Holloway, you can pick it. Conversely, if you want to pick Max Holloway to have more or less than 69.5 significant strikes, you can pick that as well. Pick at least 2 athletes, and they can't be from the same team. Submit your lineup. It's that simple to play. And if you do play, please be sure to play responsibly. But check out Prize Picks today. Sign up using the link below in my description box. And be sure to take advantage of the offer where you spend $5 and get $50 instantly by using code HMA. Now let's get back to the show. Obviously winning games will help with that because it brings more attention to your programs. But getting your school's brand and your school's logo will also help that. And by getting the conference's logo out there, maybe some kid in London, England, for example, I'm just throwing that out as an example, will Google Big 12, see all the schools in the Big 12, and decide, you know what, I want to look at some of these schools. And if partnering with Monster Energy gives the Big 12 a greater opportunity to expand their reach, their marketing reach, then I think that's a long-term play. Brett Yormark's looking big picture, long-term. It's yes, the $800,000 is a shot in the arm. Now that these schools, let's face it, they need it. They're trying to compete with the SEC and Big Ten. They need every single penny they can get. But it's a long, and here is, in my opinion, the bombshell that he dropped that I haven't heard anybody talk about yet. He wants to use the international play, the international recognition, the exposure to monetize, have international TV rights, to monetize international TV rights at the next media deal. That's huge. Can you imagine the Big 12 getting maybe they get a separate media deal internationally with some network or streaming service overseas, or maybe if you get your brand grown overseas, people like companies like Apple or Netflix or Paramount or whoever sees an opportunity to, hey man, Big 12's getting all kinds of attention over here in England or over here in Europe, the continent of Europe. People are interested in Big 12 sports here. We can monetize it over there. That's what he's looking at doing. And I'm guilty of it too. We tend to get small-minded and think small. Brett Yormark is not thinking small. He's thinking 5, 10, 20 years down the road. That's what executives do. That's what CEO types do. My company, our CEO's telling us all the time, man. That's why the company president, rather, has told us before, where I work, there's a reason the windshield's bigger than the rearview mirror. We don't look behind us, we look ahead. And that's what Brett Yormark's trying to do here. So we've got to stop getting caught up in strictly the money piece of it. There's more to it than that. Exposure, what's exposure lead to down the road? More money. Get away from what we get today and look at what they can get tomorrow and the next day and the next day. That's what Brett Yormark's looking at here. That's what this sponsor deal could potentially bring to the conference. Now, will it end up being a dumpster fire and being a terrible deal? It's possible. It's possible. Did they make the deal for too low of a number? Maybe. But let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater just yet. Let's give it a chance to see how it works and to see if it does indeed help the league get a better media deal in 2030, 2031. Mountaineer fans, have you signed up for Mountaineer Travel? It's the only travel site where your bookings can directly benefit West Virginia athletics. You'll not only save money on travel, but you can help make WVU better at the same time. So if you care about West Virginia sports, which is all of us, or if you have travel plans, which is most of us, Mountaineer Travel is for you. Travel with a team for a road game this fall, or book the rest of your summer vacation. Any and all of it will help West Virginia. It's that simple. Choose from over 850,000 locations around the world and save up to 50%. It's the best way for fans to make a difference. Sign up for free at mountaineer.travel or use my custom link in the description box below this video. Start booking your travel today with West Virginia. Let's go. The final thing I want to talk about is this coaches poll that On3 did that got reported about, or that On3 did while they were at Media Days. Brett McMurphy did it. He had each coach vote anonymously for the team they thought would win the Big 12, the team they thought would be the runner-up in the Big 12 championship game, and the team who would win it, obviously. So what two teams will appear in the Big 12 championship game and who wins it? That's what he wanted each coach to vote on. And when they broke the votes down, to the surprise of many, Texas Tech only had 8 votes to be in the conference championship game at the end of the year. 8 out of 16. BYU had like 14. And believe it or not, West Virginia got a vote to be in the national title game, or the conference title game. Now, they got picked to lose it. But some coach in the Big 12 actually picked West Virginia to play in the Big 12 championship. It's possible it could have been Rich Rod. And I know people are going to say, well, you don't, in those kind of polls, you don't vote for your own team. Brett McMurphy gave them condition of anonymity, so if they wanted to vote for their own team, they could vote for their own team. But we'll never know the answer, but it would be awesome to know whether or not Rich Rod voted for West Virginia, or is there some other coach in the Big 12 that did, who really thinks what Rich Rod's doing. They're looking at West Virginia from behind the scenes, from over in another state, another part of the league, going, you know what? Rich Rod's building himself something special in Morgantown. That team's going to be better than people think. Is that possible? Is it possible that there's another coach in that league who thinks that? It could be. Because in my mind, I'm thinking if Rich Rod picked West Virginia to appear in the conference championship game, I just don't think he'd pick them to lose it. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Another shout out to our sponsors. Mountaineer Travel, and Prize Picks. Thank them for helping me pay the bills. Thank you for listening and or watching. God bless you, and cue Country Roads.